The evolution of technology. Tracing the technological shift in understanding the mind. Welcome, everyone. Today, we're tracing a fascinating journey. How psychology's tools have evolved from handwritten notes and paper files to cloud platforms, mobile apps, and AI-powered systems. This timeline isn't just about gadgets, it's about how each technological leap has reshaped the way we assess, treat, and understand mental health. From punch cards to predictive algorithms, psychology has embraced innovation to become faster, more accurate, and more accessible. Let's begin by exploring how these shifts have transformed both clinical practice and psychological research. From manual to digital tools. This timeline highlights how psychological methods have evolved alongside technology. From handwritten notes to AI-powered tools, each milestone reflects a shift in how we assess, treat, and understand mental health. Psychology's tools have changed dramatically over time. Before the digital era, everything was done manually. Handwritten notes, paper test booklets, and physical files stored in cabinets. These methods were effective for their time, but they were slow, prone to human error, and difficult to scale. As technology entered schools, clinics, and research labs, psychologists were among the first to adopt early computers. In the 1950s and 60s, computers helped process statistics, analyze test data, and manage large-scale research. These machines made scoring faster, more accurate, and more consistent compared to manual calculations. Later on, advances in communication technology opened the door for telepsychology. It began in experimental forms, telephone consultations, closed-circuit TV for remote evaluations, and eventually grew into modern video call therapy. Telepsychology allowed psychologists to reach clients who lived far away, had mobility challenges, or needed flexible scheduling. During the COVID-19 pandemic, it became one of the most important modes of mental health care. As the internet, mobile apps, and cloud systems emerged, psychological tools became even more accessible and interactive. Online assessments, digital surveys, mobile tracking apps, and now AI-powered platforms support both clinicians and clients in ways that were impossible years ago. What's important to note is that each new tool didn't replace psychologists, it improved the work. Technology reduced paperwork, minimized scoring errors, expanded access through telepsychology, and allowed professionals to spend more time on interpretation, empathy, and meaningful client engagement. Examples. Assessments that once required manual checking are now scored instantly on tablets. Clients who used to miss sessions due to distance can now join via telepsychology platforms. Researchers who relied on small, local samples can now collect global data online. Now that we've explored the big picture evolution from manual methods to digital and remote systems, let's take a closer look at the key milestones that shaped each decade. The next slide will walk us through the major technological eras in more detail. Key technological milestones in psychology. Let's explore how technology has shaped the field of psychology over time. This timeline highlights key milestones, from early computing to today's AI-driven tools, and how each era has transformed research and practice. 1950s to 1960s. Early computing and data analysis. Let's start with the 1950s, when psychology first intersected with computing. In 1957, the IBM 704 was used in psychological research. This was groundbreaking because it allowed researchers to run statistical analyses and simulations far faster than manual calculation. By 1960, factor analysis software was introduced on mainframe computers. This gave psychologists new tools to study personality traits systematically. In 1965, punch card systems became common. Imagine psychologists feeding stacks of cards into machines to organize behavioral data. Tedious, but revolutionary compared to handwritten logs. 1970s to 1980s, digital testing and lab automation. Moving into the 1970s and 80s, computing became more accessible. In 1971, the floppy disk was introduced. For psychology, this meant data could be stored and transported easily between labs. By 1974, reaction time testing software was developed, supporting cognitive psychology's focus on attention and processing speed. The release of the IBM PC in 1981 brought personal computers into psychology labs, shifting away from reliance on massive mainframes. By 1985, computerized cognitive assessments were emerging in clinical settings, offering standardized, digital ways to evaluate patients. If you were a researcher in the 1980s, how might having a personal computer in your lab change your workflow? Psychology was no longer just collecting data. It was beginning to automate testing and clinical practice.
1990s, Internet and online research. The 1990s brought the Internet, and psychology embraced it quickly. In 1991, the World Wide Web launched, opening possibilities for online data collection. By 1995, email surveys became common, speeding up recruitment and reducing costs. JSTOR expanded access to psychology journals in 1997, democratizing scholarly research. In 1999, SurveyMonkey launched, enabling scalable online surveys, a tool many of us still use today. Think about today's online surveys. What advantages and disadvantages do you see compared to traditional paper surveys? The Internet transformed psychology into a global science, connecting researchers and participants across borders. 2000s. Cloud and mobile integration. The 2000s shifted focus to security, cloud systems, and mobile devices. In 2003, the HIPAA security rule emphasized secure digital record-keeping, critical for protecting patient privacy. By 2005, cloud-based electronic medical records, EMRs, like therapy notes and Simple Practice, streamlined therapy management. The iPhone's release in 2007 marked the beginning of mobile apps influencing mental health delivery, therapy literally in your pocket. In 2009, Google Forms became a free, accessible survey tool widely adopted in academia. How do you think mobile devices changed the relationship between psychologists and their patients? Psychology was now mobile, secure, and cloud-connected, making research and therapy more flexible. 2010s. App explosion and AI emergence. The 2010s saw an explosion of apps and the first wave of AI in psychology. Headspace launched in 2010, popularizing mindfulness and CBT tools on mobile devices. SciToolKit, 2012, offered free online experiments and surveys, democratizing access to research tools. Dailyo, 2015, introduced mood tracking apps, empowering individuals to monitor their mental health daily. Woebot, 2017, emerged as an AI chatbot delivering CBT-style support, an early example of conversational AI in therapy. By 2018, VR exposure therapy gained traction for PTSD and phobias, showing how immersive tech could treat mental health conditions. Have you or someone you know used a mental health app? What benefits or challenges did you notice? Apps and AI began reshaping both self-care and clinical practice, making psychology more interactive and personalized. 2020s to present, AI, VR, and predictive tools. Finally, in the 2020s, psychology entered the era of predictive AI and immersive therapy. COVID-19 in 2020 accelerated telepsychology, making remote therapy platforms essential. In 2021, AI voice analysis tools began detecting emotional states from speech, offering potential for early intervention. By 2023, VR therapy was tested in clinical trials for social anxiety and trauma, showing strong evidence for immersive treatment. In 2025, platforms like Mindstrong started analyzing smartphone usage patterns to monitor mood and cognition, predictive tools that could revolutionize mental health care. Do you think predictive tools like AI monitoring smartphone usage are helpful, or do they raise privacy concerns? Psychology has moved from punch cards to predictive AI in less than a century. Each technological leap expanded the reach, accuracy, and accessibility of psychological science. Parallel advancements of psychology and technology. Now let us explore how technology and psychology are advancing side by side. These aren't isolated innovations. Each tech breakthrough has a direct impact on how we treat, study, and teach psychology. Digital therapeutics and apps. Let's start with digital therapeutics. These are app-based tools that deliver therapy, like CBT, mindfulness, and mood tracking, right from your phone. Clinically, they help patients manage symptoms between sessions. In research, they provide real-time data on how effective these tools are. In education, we use simulations to train students in digital therapy delivery. Think of apps like Woebot or Headspace. Students can explore these as part of their coursework. Virtual reality, VR. VR is transforming exposure therapy. Imagine treating a fear of flying by simulating an airport and flight experience without ever leaving the clinic. Researchers use VR to study PTSD and phobia responses in controlled environments. In education, VR creates immersive training. Students can step into a therapy session or brain model. This is especially powerful for visual learners and experiential training. Artificial intelligence, AI. AI is now a 24/7 support tool. Chatbots like Wysa or Tess offer emotional support and initial screening. In research, machine learning helps diagnose conditions by analyzing speech, typing patterns, or facial cues. For education, AI enables predictive analytics case studies. Students can explore how algorithms flag risk factors for depression or anxiety. This is a great way to teach ethical considerations too. Teletherapy. Teletherapy became mainstream during the pandemic, and it's here to stay. Clinically, it normalizes remote counseling and expands access. Researchers study its efficacy compared to in-person therapy. In education, we use video lectures and online role-play to prepare students for virtual practice. Wearables. Wearables like smartwatches track heart rate variability and stress levels. Clinicians use this data to personalize treatment. Researchers explore links between HRV and emotional regulation. In education, students learn to interpret biometric data and design interventions. Neurotechnology and brain imaging. Finally, neurotech, EEG, fMRI, and brain-computer interfaces gives us deeper insight into cognition and emotion. Clinically, it helps diagnose and monitor conditions like ADHD or depression. Researchers use it to understand brain activity during emotional or cognitive tasks. In education, digital brain models help students visualize neural processes. This is ideal for bridging theory and practice in neuroscience modules. As you can see, each technology isn't just a tool, it's a bridge between clinical practice, research, and education. Psychology evolves with technology, and your future careers will likely involve these tools. Let's end with a quick reflection. Which of these technologies do you feel most excited or concerned about using in practice?